about, being a life coach
Yeah.
and doing mental check-ins with your friends and how important that is during this crisis, because we're all going through something right now. So I'm sure it's harder to check in on our friends like we should. So how important is it to do mental check-ins with your friends?
Yeah, I mean, I'm checking in on my friends all the time. I actually just had a former friend of mine who actually just passed away recently from suicide in the midst of all of this stuff happening. So it's very, very important. During this time, isolation can be so deadly. And so I'm always checking in on my friends. You good? You good? You good? Or doing the house party, the house party app where you can just FaceTime everybody at the same time. I just want to make sure that everybody's good, because you never know what a person's really going through unless you ask them. And
you find it that people are easily ready to open up about that. You know what I mean? Because people that are depressed, they tend to kind of try to hide it, right?
Yeah. They really the key is just creating a safe space for them. And I'm always transparent about my life and things that I've been through. I've never been ashamed of the things that I've experienced, and I always believe that transparent leaders create environments for sharing. And so, like, my friends know I'm an open book, and they know that there's no judgment, so they feel very safe around me. So whatever it is they're experiencing, they tend to tell me. I'm grateful for that.
Right. Recently, the writer from This Is Us committed suicide.
That's my friend.
That's your friend. Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So sorry.
So what are your thoughts on her passing?
I would say that she was probably the most brilliant person I ever met in my life. And I'll just leave it at that.
They say that she was struggling with anxiety, and I'm only asking because if there's anyone that's watching right now that may feel themselves, kind of in that lane. When someone's gone, I had a friend that committed suicide. You think, oh my God, I wish I could have. And there's a lot of guilt from the friends that survived. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that, I've dealt with suicide ideation before. But if it wasn't for the prayers, and if it wasn't for me being able to see my way out of it, then I wouldn't be here today. And I often tell people, that's why I always tell people, hang on to hope. That's why I always tell people, never lose your imagination, because I feel like a lot of times suicide can be the death of imagination. And so you had the person that I am today. I envisioned this guy, because it was one point I didn't think that this was possible. So I'm always a proponent for hanging on to imagination. I'm always a proponent for being vulnerable, putting your stuff out there. Yes, I've dealt with suicide ideation. Yes, I felt depressed. Yes, I had low self-esteem. But so what? But I'm still possible. And that's my thing, is that you're still possible. And so, like, I encourage anybody out there, if you're feeling like, this is the end, please hang on to hope. There's so many resources out there. There are text services for you to, suicide hotline text services, call a friend. Like, you don't have to choose this. You don't have to choose this.
Thank you for that. Now, Kelly, how does that resonate with you? Because the world of pageants is like kind of the opposite, right? Everything's perfect and you got to put your best face forward. There's really, you don't really have the luxury as much to show weakness, right? Or it's right. Like, even when you're feeling crummy, you got to put that crown on and you got to wave and you got to be in those, you got to go speak and you have to influence and inspire other people. Do you ever feel pressure from, having to have that perfect public face, I guess you'd say?
Definitely. I would say my last semester in college, which was last fall, I went through a major depression. It was girls who were my friends for years just turned their backs on me, but yet I had to still go to class. I had to still be, the face of the sorority, of different things. And it's like you have all this pressure. People are expecting you just to be perfect when you're not perfect. No one's there with me at nighttime when I'm crying. You know what I'm saying? They just see me smiling, bubbly Kelly. But, I just prayed and I started reading daily affirmations, and slowly but surely I got out of the funk. So I say if there's anyone out there struggling, read your Bible or pray to the higher power that you have and read daily affirmations. Speak positivity within yourself, because whatever you speak into the light comes to pass more than likely. So if you speak positivity and light into your life, and that's how you'll feel.
Why do you think it's so taboo in the Black community to not admit perceived weakness, like an issue with mental illness or even depression? Just why do you think that is? Why do you think we put so much pressure on ourselves to be Superman and Superwoman?
Well, you got to think about the narrative. Us coming here, our mindset was just survival, right? And as the decades passed on, we started to get prominence. We started to have more flexibility and more opportunities. But that epigenetic of survival is still within us. So there's no room for weakness. There's no room to think about you. But now we're in a space where you have Kelly, who is like breaking records and becoming an icon. So now she has to deal with her mental health issues. So it's not a choice. I mean, she has to. It's not a choice for her anymore to suppress it. She has to deal with it. And so like our brains have been conditioned to actually, we got to deal with stuff. Our brains are no longer conditioned for just survival. Now they're conditioned for, okay, I need to be able to navigate and figure this thing out. Otherwise I'm going to implode. So like it's ingrained in us. It's from 400 years, just survival. And now we gotta pivot, and now we gotta start dealing with who we are and dealing with our issues, because now we can't afford to. Because the suicide rates in our communities are alarming. The depression rates are alarming. The anxiety rates are alarming. It's a 911.
I'm thinking after this, with this COVID and the financial collapse in the country, and then civil unrest, it's constant negative messages, and I'm thinking that is going to be more of an issue as far as moving forward with more people. People are getting traumatized right now daily.
Absolutely.
So how are you using your platforms to bring awareness to what's going on, to help others?
Well, I've gone on 2 protests so far here in Atlanta, and I'm actually planning another Divine 9 with all of the MPHCs to come together and be the face of our organizations, to show the youth that we can all come together, because you get more accomplished when you're together. A house divided cannot stand. So if we shed love, shed light, and show that we're peaceful, we can get our message across. So I'm using my platform to just let the youth know that we do have a voice. We have to go out and vote. We have to let our voices be heard, because our vote matters, our vote counts, and that's just what we have to do.
I'm not fooling with nobody that doesn't vote. Anybody that doesn't vote, you better delete me out your phone. I want to hear it.
Listen, yeah. I teach men and young men of color how to process their emotions. I've been doing that for 10 years, and that's something that I'm doing a lot more of lately. I've been in high demand to do workshops. I did 3 today before this interview. I just want to teach men, especially Black men, that wholeness is possible for them. I want to teach Black men that they can thrive and that they have the right to honor their humanity, and that they are enough. So that's the work I've been doing for 10 years, and I will continue to do so.
Please continue that. That's so important. I admire people like Charlemagne that's very vocal about mental health when it comes to men, Black men. I think that's something they haven't really had the luxury of being able to say, I need help. I need to talk to someone. And I admire that. So you two are amazing individuals, and I appreciate your contribution to the world, because we need more of this. We really, really do. So I appreciate you.